Hello, welcome back to Acoustic Paradiso. I'm Ben, and today I'm looking at this, which is the TOD 10N electric nylon string from Ibanez. Let's see how it sounds, shall we? Right, so there we go. You might recognise this shape because it's very similar to this, which is a guitar we did a video on a few months back. And it is the same body shape. There's a lot of similarities between the two, but let's talk about some of the differences. This is the TOD 10N. TOD stands for Tree of Death. And it's a reference to the inlay along the neck here. It's a signature model for Tim Henson from Polyphia, the prog metal. I'm not sure what their official genre specification is. Not specification, that's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Anyway, this is his signature nylon string guitar. It has got a lot of similarities to this model, as I've mentioned. It's got a solid spruce top. The back and sides are sapelli, and it's got a niotone neck. It's a very thin body, but it has got the traditional fan bracing on the top, like you would expect on kind of, traditionally built nylon string guitars. The main differences between these two models, obviously the cosmetic thing. This has got this fantastic Tree of Death inlay, which is a reference to the Tree of Life inlay, which I think a lot of people know from the Gem series. But it's actually been a thing on guitars, well, instruments, for well over 100 years. In various ways, shapes or forms. It's got this pearloid binding all the way up the fingerboard and the neck and on the back and sides. It's very cool. Up here you can see the extended cutaway, and that really, really makes it easy to get all the way up to this, because I think there's 22 frets on here. It has got a radius neck. I think it's 15-inch radius. I'm going to check that. 15.75 inch radius. So if you're more used to playing kind of steel string guitars or electric guitars, the neck will feel really comfortable for you. It has got, I think it's a 46 mil nut width, which will feel a bit wide if you're used to electric, but you do need a wider nut width on nylon string guitars to allow for the wider strings. All right. The other thing that really sets this model apart from the other model that sat there is the inclusion of the Fishman Sonicore pickup and preamp. So you can see on the top here we've got the control plate, and that's got a tuner, volume control, treble, bass, and it's also got a phase switch, which is really useful for when you're, basically you can use the phase switch if you're having feedback problems live, and it just helps it can help to remedy that. So let's see how it sounds. I'm going to play with the treble and bass controls. I'm plugged into this Boss acoustic amp behind me so that I can hear what it sounds like in the room. But I'm going to start off by turning the volume down just to hear how it sounds acoustically. Obviously, it's quite a quiet guitar acoustically because it's only got a very thin body, but it does have this little sound port on the top, which means that you do have a bit more kind of coming back to you as a player. So let's see how it sounds there. Okay, so. It's very quiet. But for practice and stuff, that would be absolutely fine. It's still, because the top is braced in a kind of traditional fan braced way, it still feels a lot like you're playing a kind of standard nylon string guitar in terms of the response that you get and the way the snappiness of the string, which is really nice. But let's turn it up and see what kind of options we've got with this the treble and bass on here. I tend to find that nylon string guitars with pickups can be a bit bright when they've got undersaddle piezo's. So I'm going to try playing with the treble first. At the moment it's at 12 o'clock in the middle. I'm just going to play a chord and turn it up and down and see how that affects the tone. So it's all the way down. Probably a little bit too dark there, so let's try turning it all the way up and see how that compares. Certainly bright, isn't it? I think halfway is about right for that. I might take it down ever so slightly to maybe about 10 o'clock and see how that sounds. So. Okay, cool. So I've ended up with that just around, I guess, 1 o'clock or something like that, for whatever that's worth. Let's see how much we've got on the bass control as well, shall we? Loads. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I got a bit sidetracked there because it's actually a really very comfortable guitar to play. Yeah, the bass control and the treble control, interestingly enough, I've ended up with them both around the kind of 1 o'clock mark. The phase control is out. The amp is set straight, so it's all flat on the EQ on there, so I was trying to get a nice representation of what the pickup can do. It's a fun guitar to play. It's not your kind of traditional nylon string guitar for your traditional nylon string player, but then, you know, Tim Henson is not a traditional nylon string player. So it's an interesting development, I think. I do like the Tree of Death inlay as well. I think it looks kind of cool. So there we go. The retail on this is $659. If you would like to know any more about it, all of the specs and everything are down below. Yeah, if you're in the market for a gigging stage nylon string, this is a really good place to start. I do like the pickup on here. Yeah, it all works nicely. Don't forget to click like and subscribe and tune in for all the rest of the videos. I'm going to do some playing out on this now and see what else we can come up with. All right.